anytime you have a Seesaw issue, you could always message your teachers on Teams or through email. Let us know that something's going wrong. We could help you out. Or even just on Seesaw. We could reply to your post there too. All right, it is 11:30. I'm going to pause. The comments are over here. No, I guess comments are over here. It doesn't matter where the comments are. I'm going to pause looking at the comments, go full screen for a second, so I can say, welcome to Library Live. It's Friday, May 29th, 11:30, right on the dot. Thank you all for being here today. As always, I miss you. I'm happy to be here with you today. Let's get started with Library Live because we've got a lot of stuff to go through today. Got some new stuff to go through today too. As always, our expectations are to be kind to me with your comments. No spamming, please. That was a lot better last week. Let's keep that up this week. No spamming the comments. That'll make it easier for me to have fun, and likewise make it easier for you to have fun. Let's be patient with our tech issues if we have any. I can't get through all the comments. You guys know that, but I do read them all afterwards. 10 to 20-second delay. And finally, wherever you see that yellow camera, that's your opportunity for a screenshot. I'll let this roll through once. I think we've all seen it, but just in case you haven't, if you need to access any of the recordings from previous Library Lives, just go to your teacher's Teams page, go to the More tab, Special Area, 3-5 videos, and that will show you all the videos from all the special area teachers and all the elementary schools. So you may have to hit next a few times to find the ones that you're looking for. They're kind of organized in a random order. I don't know how to change it. Believe me, I've tried. All the previous sessions of Library Live are uploaded. Today's session I hope to have uploaded by the end of the day. All right, so what are we doing today? We're going to take a look at what you're reading again. Thank you for continuing to send me those pictures and those book talks and those selfies. Keep doing that. I'll give a book talk myself today. Really excited about that one. Some big news in the world of, well, it's kind of in the world of Harry Potter. Some big news dropped this week, so we'll talk about that. May Book Madness Round 2, Seesaw previews all about Field Day, updated house points, and then we've got something new at the very end. Make sure you stick around for it. It's called the Emoji Challenge. What is it? You have to wait to the end to find out. Then we'll do some catch up. All right, so here are some of our most recent What Are You Reading shares. You know the drill here. I'll get this little slideshow started, and every couple seconds, one of those panels will change. If you see yourself and you want to take a picture of that, go for it. If you see the cover of a book that you think looks interesting or that you've been meaning to read, go ahead and snap a screenshot of that too. It'll run through for about a minute, and I'll use this time to catch up on some of the comments too. All right, good morning, Chathura, Jonathan. Good morning, Adve. Julia's here. Silas is here. Joshita, top of the morning to you, Joshita. I don't do a great Irish accent. It's more Scottish than Irish. Kaylin beat me. She got 20. Good morning, Kamal. Good morning, Sushant. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Thomas and Andrew. Good morning, Ella. Good morning, Sophie. What's my favorite color and song? Ooh. Color is navy blue. Song right now, I'm going to say Fool in the Rain by Led Zeppelin. What food are you craving right now? Eggs. I love eggs. I'm doing well. Hita got 18. She beat me. Ellie got 30. 31? Did you really count off 31? Did you really count off 10 steps, Ellie, to get 31? If this were a football game, I'd throw my challenge flag. I want to see the challenge flag. Good morning, Veronica. Good morning, Jillian. Good morning, Novton, Bo. Good morning, Ava. And I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop on the comments for a moment. Thank you so much for sharing what you're reading with us. I'm going to continue to collect those, continue to share those photos as long as they keep coming in. If you send me a video, I take a screenshot of the video. I try to find one where your mouth isn't open and your eyes are half closed and like this. I do a pretty good job of that. You can't tell. I'll continue sharing those as long as you guys keep sending them to me. So thank you for that. All right, book talks. J.K. Rowling, author of the Harry Potter books, dropped some major news earlier in the week. She has written a new book for kids called The Ichabod. This is not a Harry Potter book. It doesn't take place in the Harry Potter world, but it is her first book for kids since Harry Potter. She wrote the Harry Potter series, then she wrote some books for adults, and now she's kind of back at it again. So I thought for our book talk today, we take a look at the website for the Ichabod because there's some really cool stuff going on there. There is an art contest. This book isn't going to be published until November, but J.K. Rowling wants you, meaning kids ages 7 through 12, to do the illustrations for the book. So there's actually an illustration contest where you can design the pictures that are going to be in the published edition of J.K. Rowling's newest book. She's donating all of her royalties to coronavirus relief, so I think that's a really cool thing. And the best thing about the Ichabod, let's check out the website, you'll see. All right, so it's the Ichabod.com. I'll put that link in the comments in just a minute. If I scroll to the top, the first tab I see is called Read the Story. If I click on that, you see, look, there's chapter 9. Well, that's weird. Why would you just post chapter 9 and 10? That seems kind of odd. Guess what? She's posting a few chapters from this book, complete chapters, not just previews, the full chapters on this website every few days. And you can see she's up to chapter, what was it, 10? Up to chapter 10 now. They're free to read. You don't need a password. You don't need to buy anything. The story goes like this. She started writing the Ichabod shortly after Harry Potter. She would read it to her kids at night, kind of like as a bedtime story. And her kids would give her feedback and she would change things. And she was ready to publish it, but then she decided that she wanted to write some books for adults. So she literally put the book up in the attic and hasn't come back to it since. This is years and years ago. Since coronavirus hit and everybody's in quarantine, she went back up into the attic, took the book out, or took the whatever was going to become the book out, I guess. It wasn't a book yet. Started rereading it, started revising it, started getting some feedback from her kids. And now she's going to publish the book in November. But until then, she's publishing a few chapters on the website, the Ichabod.com, every few days. This just started on Monday, so it's almost every day that she's posting something. I want to go to the art competition. This explains everything that I just kind of explained to you. You can design the illustrations. You need a parent to enter you because you're not 18 years old yet. So if you scroll down, there's a button that says Enter US Competition. It's for United States instead of United Kingdom. Yes, I'm leaving the website, going to a different website. Again, this is with your parents' permission. And to scroll down, you see Read the Ichabod on the Ichabod.com and check out the illustration themes. So whenever she drops new chapters, she's also dropping new themes that she needs you to illustrate. So if we go to chapter 1 here, you need to draw King Fred the Fearless, Lord Spittleworth, Lord Flapoon, Lady Eslanda, the map of Cornucopia. These are all things that she needs illustrations for the book. So if you're an artist, or even if you just want the chance at having your own artwork in a published edition of a J.K. Rowling book, you have until 11:59 p.m. on Friday, July 17th to do that. Again, your parents have to enter you, and I'll post all this information in the comments in just a couple minutes. But what I thought we'd do today for our book talk, since chapter 1 through 10 is posted, I thought we'd get a preview of the Ichabod by reading chapter 1. Because kind of selfishly, guys, I miss reading to you. I miss read alouds. I miss these kind of book talks. I'm going to post this in the comments so you have access to that, and then we'll read. There we go. And then we'll read from chapter 1, King Fred the Fearless. Pardon me as I look in the opposite direction of where the text actually is. I promise you, I'm reading it. Chapter 1, King Fred the Fearless. Once upon a time, there was a tiny country called Cornucopia, which had been ruled for centuries by a long line of fair-haired kings. The king at the time of which I write was called King Fred the Fearless. He denounced the fearless bit himself on the morning of his coronation, partly because it sounded nice with Fred, but also because he'd once managed to catch and kill a wasp all by himself, if you don't count the 5-foot men and the boot boy. King Fred the Fearless came to the throne on a huge wave of popularity. He had lovely yellow curls, a fine sweeping mustache, and looked magnificent in the tight breeches, velvet doublets, and ruffled shirts that rich men wore at the time. Fred was said to be generous, smiled and waved whenever anyone caught sight of him, and looked awfully handsome in the portraits that were distributed throughout the kingdom to be hung in the town halls. The people of Cornucopia were most happy with their new king, and many thought he'd end up being even better at the job than his father, Richard the Righteous, whose teeth, though nobody had liked to mention it at the time, were rather crooked. King Fred was secretly relieved to find out how easy it was to rule Cornucopia. In fact, the country seemed to run itself. Nearly everybody had lots of food, the merchants made pots of gold, and Fred's advisors took care of any little problem that arose. All that was left for Fred to do was to beam at his subjects whenever he went out in his carriage and go hunting 5 times a week with his 2 best friends, Lord Spittleworth and Lord Flapoon. Spittleworth and Flapoon had large... Can we just pause and say how great J.K. Rowling is at creating names? Spittleworth and Flapoon. Already you know these are not good people. Spittleworth and Flapoon had large estates of their own in the country, but they found it much cheaper and more amusing to live at the palace with the king, eating his food, hunting his stags, and making sure that the king didn't get too fond of any of the beautiful ladies at court. They had no wish to see Fred married, because a queen might spoil all their fun. For a time, Fred had seemed to rather like Lady Islanda, who was as dark and beautiful as Fred was fair and handsome. But Spittleworth had persuaded Fred that she was far too serious and bookish for the country to love her as a queen. Fred didn't know that Lord Spittleworth had a grudge against Lady Islanda. He'd once asked her to marry him, but she turned him down. Lord Spittleworth was very thin, cunning, and clever. His friend Flapoon was ruddy-faced and so enormous that it required 6 men to heave him onto his massive chestnut horse. Though not as clever as Spittleworth, Flapoon was still far sharper than the king. Both lords were experts at flattery and pretending to be astonished by how good Fred was at everything, from riding to tiddlywinks. If Spittleworth had a particular talent, it was persuading the king to do the things that suited Spittleworth. And if Flapoon had a gift, it was for convincing the king that nobody on earth was as loyal to the king as his 2 best friends. Fred thought Spittleworth and Flapoon were jolly good chaps. They urged him to hold fancy parties, elaborate picnics, sumptuous banquets, because Cornucopia was famous, far beyond its borders, for its food. Each of its cities was known for a different kind, and each was the very best in the world. The capital of Cornucopia, Cheville, lay in the south of the country, and was surrounded by an acre of orchards, fields of shimmering golden wheat and emerald green grass, on which pure white dairy cows grazed. The cream, flour, and fruit produced by the farmers here was then given to the exceptional bakers of Cheville, who made pastries. Think, if you please, of the most delicious cake or cookie you have ever tasted. Well, let me tell you that they'd have been downright ashamed to serve that in Cheville. Unless a grown man's eyes filled with tears of pleasure as he bit into a Cheville pastry, it was deemed a failure and never made again. The bakery windows of Cheville were piled high with delicacies such as maidens' dreams, fairies' cradles, and most famous of all, hopes of heaven, which were so exquisitely, painfully delicious that they were saved for special occasions, and everyone cried for joy as they ate them. King Porphyrio in the neighboring Pluritania had already sent King Fred a letter, offering him the choice of any of his daughter's hands in marriage, in exchange for a lifetime supply of hopes of heaven. But Spittleworth had advised Fred to laugh at the Pluritanian ambassador's face. "His daughters are nowhere near pretty enough to exchange for hopes of heaven, sire," said Spittleworth. To the north of Cheville lay more green fields and clear, sparkling rivers, where jet-black cows and happy pink pigs were raised. These, in turn, served the twin cities of Kurdsburg and Baronstown, which were separated from each other by an arching stone bridge over the main river of Cornucopia, the Fluma, where brightly colored barges bore goods from one end of the kingdom to another. Kurdsburg was famous for its cheeses. Huge white wheels, dense orange cannonballs, big crumbly blue-veined barrels, and little baby cream cheeses, smoother than velvet. Baronstown was celebrated for its smoked and honey-roasted hams, its sides of bacon, its spicy sausages, its melting beefsteaks, and its venison pies. The savory fumes rising from the chimneys of the red brick Baronstown stoves mingled with the odorous tang wafting from the doorways of the Kurdsburg cheesemongers. And for 40 miles, all around, it was impossible not to salivate, breathing in the delicious air. A few hours north of Kurdsburg and Baronstown, you came upon acres of vineyards bearing grapes as large as eggs, each of them ripe and sweet and juicy. Journey onward for the rest of the day, and you reached the granite city of Jeroboam, famous for its wines. They said of the Jeroboam air that you could get tipsy simply from walking its streets. The best vintages changed hands for thousands upon thousands of gold coins, and the Jeroboam wine merchants were some of the richest men in the kingdom. But a little north of Jeroboam, something strange happened. It was as though the magically rich land of Cornucopia had exhausted itself by producing the best grass, the best fruit, and the best wheat in the world. Right at the northern tip came the place known as the marshlands, and the only thing that grew there were some tasteless rubbery mushrooms and thin dry grass, only good enough for a few mangy sheep. The marshlanders who tended the sheep didn't have the sleek, well-rounded, well-dressed appearance of the citizens of Jeroboam, Baronstown, Kurdsburg, or Cheville. They were gaunt and ragged. Their poorly nourished sheep never fetched very good prices, either in Cornucopia or abroad, so very few marshlanders ever got to taste the delights of cornucopian wine, cheese, beef, or pastries. The most common dish in the marshlands was a greasy mutton broth, made of those sheep who were too old to sell. The rest of Cornucopia found the marshlanders an odd bunch, surly, dirty, and ill-tempered. They had rough voices which the other Cornucopians imitated, making them sound like hoarse-old sheep. Jokes were made about their manners and their simplicity. As far as the rest of Cornucopia was concerned, the only memorable thing that had ever come out of the marshlands was the legend of the Ichabod. That's the end of chapter 1. You can see you can go right on to chapter 2 and continue reading about the Ichabod. 10 chapters have been posted up to this point. I've read the first few. I really like it so far. It doesn't seem like the same type of story as Harry Potter. It seems more like a dark or creepy fairy tale that seems like the path that it's going down. But I really like it. So if you are interested in continuing to read, I posted that link in the chat. You can access it there. That will also get you to the art contest. And maybe we'll continue reading next week. If you'd like to read chapter 2 next week, you can actually let me know that in this week's May Book Madness poll. All right, I'm going to scroll down the comments to see what you thought, while reminding you that if you missed any book talks that I did in previous weeks, these are the 4 that I've book talked so far, you can check out the recordings of Library Live and skim right to the book talks if you want to hear about Race to the Sun, Song for a Whale, A Game of Fox and Squirrels, or Stand Up Yumi Chung. Those are the 4 book talks I did in previous weeks. All right, some of you have already read parts of the Ichabod. Abizer already did some reading on it. No moderator questions or comments to the moderator. Won't be visible until I approve them. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment on my accent. It's okay if you're late. You're all here. Zoe, please stop spamming the comments with random things. Thank you. All right, let's move on. Let's get our next screen up here. We'll move a little quickly so we make sure we have time for everything today. May Book Madness. We're voting on our favorite series. Let's take a look at these matchups. No surprise here. Diary of a Wimpy Kid wins 90-27 over the Whatever After series. Sorry, Whatever After fans. This was a close one for a while. I don't know if you consider this an upset or not. I kind of thought Babysitter's Club would win this one. I Survive, super popular. I had my money on Babysitter's Club. 65-52. I Survive moves on to the next round. In the purple region, man, you want to talk about closer than I thought. Dork Diaries almost pulled a major upset. I think this would have been the first upset, I think, if Dork Diaries won, but Percy Jackson held on 60-56. And then finally, again, no surprise here, Wings of Fire 41, Dogman 75. Dogman moves on to the next round. So our next round of matchups and our updated tournament bracket looks like this. It'll be Diary of a Wimpy Kid facing off against the I Survive series. And then we have Percy Jackson versus Dogman. I think that'll be a close one too. You know the drill at this point. If you want to vote, you have to vote by Thursday, June 4th at 1 o'clock. The link is going to be posted in a Seesaw activity that we'll post at 12 o'clock today, right at the end of Library Live. You don't have to add a response. You're more than welcome to tell me what your name was or what you voted for if you want to get that off of your activities I haven't done yet plate. But all you have to do there, if you want to vote, is click the blue link and vote on that Kahoot. I'll also ask you a poll in that Kahoot this week about whether or not you want me to read more from the Ichabod next week. All right, let me catch up on the comments here before I move on. A lot of positive things for the Ichabod. Bobby, if you look in the comments that I've published, you'll see a link to the Ichabod website, and you can find out all the illustration rules and themes and things like that there. Yes, Arlo, as soon as I started reading that part about all the foods in the town, like, okay, I could live here. A lot of positive comments on the Ichabod, really liking it. Can I try more accents? Yes, as soon as more characters have speaking parts. Only one character spoke in chapter 1. Yes, I've read The Honest Truth. Awesome, awesome books. Sorry, Jillian, Wings of Fire just didn't make it. All right, folks. When you log into Seesaw today, a lot of you over here, a lot of you have already seen it. It's all about Beat Mr. Salerno. There's a quick, maybe 1 or 2 minute video explaining that. Watch my video on Mr. Ellis or Mrs. Lorene page where I do the Squeeze It challenge, and then let me know on the library page if you were able to beat my score. I even gave you a scoreboard and everything to fill out. My score is up there. I got 15. I thought I got closer to 900. Mr. Ellis said 15. I trust him, so we're going to go with 15. You could fill in your score. Like, let's say you got 12, which means Mr. Salerno wins. You just cross that one out. Or if some of you are actually able to beat me, I don't know. I think 15 was a pretty great score. Maybe you got 17. You cross that one out. Do that one over there. Draw a little smiley face, whatever you want. But that's it for this week's Seesaw activity. I want to make sure you have plenty of time to do all the virtual field day stuff. So this week's Seesaw activity is pretty quick. Plus, it gives you more time to go back and earn some house points. Remember, you're earning house points for completing these four right there. Seesaw activities. It's Poem in Your Pocket, Scranimals, part 2, not part 1, just part 2. What are you reading? And research. Complete those 4 activities, earn 4 points for your team. These were the points from last week. Hufflepuff and Gryffindor jumped out to a lead with 143 points. Every time you complete an activity, that's 1 point for your team. Ravenclaw and Slytherin has some catching up to do. Let's see what the points look like at the start of week 2. And it's Hufflepuff jumping out to a 5-point lead. Hufflepuff scored 170 points total. They increased their score from last week. Gryffindor still in 2nd place, but I'm not trying to call you out, Gryffindor, but Gryffindor scored the least points last week. So still in 2nd place, but lost the tie of the lead, and now Ravenclaw and Slytherin are catching up. Ravenclaw's at 159, Slytherin at 148. Ravenclaw and Slytherin actually had the 2 best scores from last week, so they caught up to Gryffindor and Hufflepuff. Slytherin scored more points than any team last week, so Slytherin's really going in the right direction. Still in last place, but again, with so many kids and so many classes and 4 activities to complete, those scores can change a lot from week to week. So you have until Tuesday, June 9th at 4 o'clock, and that's in the house points activity, all that information, to score these points. We're going to announce the winner at a special Library Live on Wednesday, June 10th, 2020. Remember, that's the last day of school. That's going to be a kindergarten through 5th grade. That's a whole school Library Live. You get really good numbers for that. All right, before we move on, to our emoji challenge, which is something new. See if I can get caught up in the comments real quick. Good stuff to say about the Ichabod. I have not finished the Ichabod yet. I read the first 3 chapters. You can click the link in the comments here. You can't click the link on the screen, though. And Dork Diaries just didn't have enough. My favorite book is Coraline by Neil Gaiman. Some folks coming in late, that's okay. Remember, you can go to your teams page, go to the More tab, and then special area 3.5 videos to watch the recording. All right. Emoji challenge. Here's how this is going to work. I'm going to put a series of emojis up on the screen. And your job is to guess which book I'm thinking of based on the emojis that are on the screen. This is one of those things, if you just do it, it makes more sense than explaining. So let's take a look at an example. Here's a series of emojis. What book does this series of emojis represent? Send me your ideas in the comments. While I'm waiting for that 20-second delay, I'm going to look at some of the comments. Mrs. Hennessy's class is Hufflepuff. You can always tell your class by looking at your library seesaw page. What do these emojis represent? What book? Got some hands. You've got some fish. You've got some colors. What book do you think this is? All right, a bunch of you got it right off the bat. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. Absolutely. Nice job. So you get how that works? That's a little bit of an easy one. Here we go. We've got 6 different emoji challenges. We're not going to get to them all today, but here's what we're going to do. Get your keyboards ready. I'm going to tell you an emoji. I'm going to tell you an emoji. And the first person to type that emoji and send it to me in the comments is going to get to choose which one of these we'll do. I think we'll only have time for 1 today, and then we'll get to the others over the next couple library lives. So get your keyboards ready. And if you don't have a way to send emojis because you're on a computer or something like that, that's okay. You'll still be able to participate in the actual emoji challenge where you try to guess the book, okay? So I'm going to say an emoji, and I want you to send it to me in the comments. The first one that sends me the right one, you get to choose which number we do. All right, I want to see the pizza emoji. First person to send me the pizza emoji gets to choose which number we do today, 1 through 6. Find the pizza emoji and send me that in the comments. First one to find it. First one to find it and send it gets to choose a number, and that's going to be the emoji challenge we do today because we're already coming up on 12 o'clock. Some guesses in there for song. So Mrs. Keating's class has Song for a Whale on the brain. Sean, right away. Sean Eisenhart gets it. Sean, right off the bat, got that pizza emoji. I'm going to publish that just to show Sean got it first. A bunch of you were really quick. Sean was just the quickest. All right, Sean, give me a number. Type a number in there, Sean. Let me know what number we're going to do. I got so much pizza right now. If only I can convert your emoji pizzas into real pizza. Type a number for me there in the comments, Sean, and that's the number that we'll do today for the emoji challenge. Sean's already got it. Choose the number 1 through 6. 20-second delay, folks. I had no pizza for 20 seconds. Now I see nothing but pizza. All right, Sean wants to go with number 4. So here we go. Number 4 is which book? This is not a race. I'll give you a few seconds to figure it out. Take a look at what's there. Take a look at some of those emojis. Think of what they might represent. What do they all have in common? Sometimes it tells the story going from left to right. Sometimes it's just a collection of emojis. Still getting pizza. I've never said this before in my life, but no more pizza. First and last time I'm ever going to say no more pizza. All right. And I'm not going to publish it yet, but Angela, you got it. You're correct. You guessed it. It is not Bug Diaries, not Diary of a Worm, not any of those. Natalie, you got it. Brooke, you got it too. Neil's got it. Mahita's got it. You're half right, Juliana. You got the second half right. Eric, you got it. Anya's got it. Arlo's got it. Ellie's got it. Anna's got it. Siri's correct. Sushant is, nope, sorry, not Song of a Whale. No whale in there. Silas, you're correct. Sumeri, you're correct. Not the Very Hungry Caterpillar. Good guess, though. All right, a lot of answers are coming in that are correct. So the emoji challenge answer is James and the Giant Peach. I almost made the peach emoji like super big, but I thought that would be a little too easy. Nice job. Good job, Sean, getting in there first with the pizza emoji. That's how that'll work. We'll do more next week. All right, folks. I'm going to come back to catch-up time because it is already 12:01, so I want to remind you, in case you need to leave, about house points. Complete those 4 activities, score points for your house. Maybook Madness chapter part 2 is up on Seesaw. So is the Beat Mr. Salerno in Virtual Field Day activity. Remember to check the published comments for a link to the Ichabod if you want to continue reading on your own, or check out that illustration challenge. Really cool stuff going on there. If you have to go right now, thank you for coming. I miss you. I'll see you next week on Library Live. But for those of you who are able to stick around or have some questions to ask, I will stick around for a little bit longer to do some catch up. All right, let me scroll through all the guesses. A Bug's Life. Not a bad guess for a Bug's Life. James and the Giant Peach was the answer. Do a loser's bracket of Maybook Madness. I think we have time. Brooke saying goodbye. Can I do a Welsh accent? I don't think so. I don't know how to distinguish a Welsh accent from other British accents. Some I can distinguish, not all of them though. Welsh is not one of them. Nandita had a kiwi. Awesome. Juliana said goodbye, and she's taking all the pizza with her, apparently. Isha smashed a potato. Smashed potatoes are very tasty. Goodbye, Brooke. Goodbye, Arlo. Thanks, Mrs. Dowd. Mrs. Dowd is here saying, great library, read aloud, great emoji challenge. Have a great weekend for Mrs. Dowd. Oh, Lauren asking, what is my favorite Gordon Ramsay dish? Scrambled eggs. His scrambled eggs are some of the best scrambled eggs I've ever had. I haven't had his scrambled eggs, but I make his scrambled eggs. So easily scrambled eggs is my answer there. See if I could reply to some of these comments and publish. Scrambled eggs. Publish. Sushant, do I like ketchup? Not the condiment. Only this ketchup. This ketchup. Julie, what is my favorite virtual field day challenge? I haven't seen all of them yet. I've only seen mine and a couple others. So I have to go watch them. Mr. Ellis did send us all the links to watch all the different ones. Goodbye again, Brooke. Goodbye, Chathura. Bye, Paula. Bye, Claire. Yep, I can see your comments, Zoe. Goodbye, Nandita. Rishig asking Bucks or Patriots. I still, I don't know. I'm gonna say Pats still have a better team. Will sending me some more pizza. Thank you very much. Mahita asking, what things do you do when you're bored other than reading? I probably watch movies more than I read. I read, but I like movies and TV a lot. So I do that. I really enjoy mowing the lawn, as weird as that sounds. My wife will say that I mow the lawn even when I don't have to. It's just relaxing. Started going for walks a lot more recently since I'm doing a lot more work sitting down, not moving around as much. I'll play a video game every now and then. A little Animal Crossing. It's nice and relaxing. Can I put a villain voting on Kahoot? We'll see what we can do with Kahoots once the school year is over. It's gonna be a little harder since I don't know what our access to Seesaw is gonna be like. This morning, I just had some cereal for breakfast. I had some chocolate Lucky Charms today, because when you're a grown-up, you can do that. I do like birds. You get a lot of birds in the backyard of the Salerno house. We see a lot of blue jays, which are really cool, and cardinals. Mrs. Salerno loves birds. I think they're fine. I have no favorite teachers. All the KDM teachers are my favorite teachers. Cannot pick just one. Andrew asked steak or fish. As a basic category, I'm going to go fish. But if you're asking me like about specific fish versus specific types of steak, I might take some steaks. Bye, Kaylin. Oh, good question, Jolie. What's my favorite Disney ride? I like the creepy ones. I like Tower of Terror. I like the Haunted Mansion, classic, and I like Splash Mountain. Those are my 3 favorite Disney rides, probably in that order. All right, see those numbers going down a little bit. We're at about 30 people still hanging around. Happy to have you here. If you have any extra questions or comments, send them in the Q&A, and I'll answer them. In a little bit, it's gonna be time to go. I've actually never played Roblox, Battle Royale, or Roblox, so I have no answer for that one, Sushant. My favorite bird? I don't know what my favorite bird is. A penguin. How about that? Penguin is my favorite bird. There is a bird that keeps knocking on a window. Lauren, that's how some fantasy stories start. Maybe you're about to go on an epic adventure. Other than pizza, what is my favorite food? Eggs. Eggs as a general food category. I love eggs. Anan, you're going to have some lunch. Enjoy. Enjoy your lunch. Natalie, I do not know what Tuvalu is. Enlighten me. My favorite book is Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I need somebody in here to moderate these comments and type the things that I'm saying, so we can have all this documented and on record. All right, everybody. I think that's just about it. We're dipping below 20 now. I think most people are either heading out to get some lunch or maybe just forgot to log out. No, not Eggos, Lucas, just eggs. Eggs, not Eggos. Although Eggos are delicious. I would put them as my second favorite food, though. All right, folks. It is officially time for us to wrap it up. It was time for us to wrap it up 8 minutes ago. Thank you for coming. Thank you for staying. Miss you. See you next week on Library Live.